Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be creating our basic bodice block. So I'll be teaching you guys as a beginner how to draft a pattern on your basic bodice block. I already dropped a video on how on the basic tools you need for drafting a pattern, the basic tools are, so you can do well to check that out. But for this video, we are making our basic bodice block, just basic bodice. Okay, we are drafting our basic bodice. So before we start, we are going to draft out our starting line where we are going to start. Starting points. Mark out 0.5 inch. I mark out 0.5 inch for our starting line. Then I'll go ahead and mark out my chest point. From my starting line, I'll mark my chest point. Please note that before you draft your basic bodice, you must have already taken your measurements, your right measurements. Okay, so I'm working with my own measurements on this video. Okay, so my chest point is 9.5, my bust is 11.5, my under bust is 15, my half length is 17. My half length is 17, but I'll be adding 1 inch to it. Okay, then my full length is 24. The full length of my blouse is 24. So I'll come and do the same here. First, I marked my chest point, marked my bust point, marked my under bust, marked my half length, which is 18, then my full length 24. So I'll connect all the lines together. Okay, I'll connect. So I'll go ahead and write it down. So now I'm going to mark my shoulder. My shoulder is 15.5. So 15.5. Please note that all the measurements I'm taking here will be included with seam allowance. I'm adding my sewing allowance together with all the measurements I'm drafting on this paper. Okay, so my shoulder is 15.5. 15.5 divided by 2 is 7.75 plus half inch for the joining allowance, which is 8.25. So I'll come down here on my chest. I'm going to mark 8.25 and I'm going to connect it together. I'm going to connect it together. Okay, so I'll come down here with 1 inch my slope. Then I'll come here. The basic pattern, standard pattern for neckline is 3x3. So I'll be using 3x3 in this tutorial. But normally I use 4, or I use 3.5x4 or 3.5x5 for myself. But for the sake of this video, we are going to use the standard measurement, which is 3x3. Then we are going to connect our shoulder slope here. Then we are going to curve our neckline. I'm going to curve it. We are going to curve it. Okay, so having done that, we will now measure this line, this part here, and we are going to divide it by 2. Whatever you have, this is 8.5, so divided by 2 is 4.25. Okay, so we come in by half inch. Then we are going to, now before we connect, I'm going to mark out my bust point, my bust measurement. So my bust measurement is, my bust is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. So I'm marking 10.5 here. So we are going to connect this. You come out by 1. We are going to connect it to this point here. Okay, and we are going to draw our curve for connecting it connecting it to these points from here down here to here. Perfect. See that? Now moving on, we are going to my bust span, that is nipple to nipple is 9 inches. So I'm going to mark nipple, 9 inches divided by 2 is 4.5 plus 5 inches sewing allowance. Like I said, all my measurements are included with allowance. So I'm going to mark here 5. I'm going to mark here 5. I marked from my bust point 5 inch, then 5 inch. Yes, that's it. So sorry for that. Next, I'm going to mark out my bust measurement. So my bust is 42 divided by 4, 10.5. 10.5 plus 2 inches sewing allowance will give me 12.5. So I marked 12.5. For my under bust, my under bust is 35. 35 divided by 4 is 8.75. So I'm going to mark 8.75 plus 1 inch that, take note, plus 1 inch that, and 2 inches sewing allowance. Okay, now my half length here is 36. So 36 divided by 4 is 9 inches, plus I mark my 9 inches plus 1 inch that and 2 inches sewing allowance. Okay, now for my full length, my hip, for my full length, which is my hip, I'll be marking, my hip is 45 years. So 45 divided by 4 is 11.25. Then I'll be adding 0.25 each for each allowance. So I'll make it 11.5. Then I'll mark 11.5. Since the dart is not going to get to this place, I'll mark plus 2 inches sewing allowance. Okay, now for this, my nipple to nipple, from my under bust, I'll come out by half inch. For my half length, I'll come out by half inch. But first, I'm going to connect this middle line, this my bust span line together. Okay, connecting it together. Then for my other bust, I came out by half inch. Okay, so now from my under bust, I'll go up by 2 inches. Or let me go up by 2.5 inches because my dart is going to start from there. Then for my full length, I'll come up by 2 inches from my full length. Okay, so I'm going to connect here to here to here to here, just like that. Okay, then I'll add these points. I'll add 2 inches seam allowance here. Then I'm going to connect the lines together. So that's about our basic bodies. Okay, please don't forget that all these measurements are included in seam allowance. Right now, if you are going to take your bust dart, we are going to take our bust basket. We are going to come in here by 1 inch. from the under bust, come down by 1 inch. Then you are going to connect it straight to the bust point. Okay. So now we are done with the front part of our basic bodice. Okay. So this is the front part of our basic bodice. Very, very simple.